asking for the YouTube subscribers. Well, subscribe already. Hit the fucking like button and subscribe before I knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
UFC is back, and it's back on ABC, guys, from Charlotte. With a decent card. We did lose a fight just a few days ago. Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill. I know some of the guys watching this probably are upset. Dern's now fighting on this card. I was interested to see how that fight would go. Fortunately, that has been scrapped. Pushed back, I think, just a few weeks from now. You know, an interesting main event, right? When we look at it on an ABC card, big card, you have a big favorite in the heavyweight division, Almeida versus Rosenstrike. Not too sure, a little bit of a head scratcher there. But I'll break down this main card like always, guys. Provide some free picks, leans, what to avoid, and just some line information, betting lines, etc. Systemsportscapping.com is the website. Client packages available over there for all sports. Updated records, resume, client comments, and much more. Check out the website if you haven't already. System Capping on all social media, TikTok, Instagram. I do free picks over there weekly. We're on a 7-1 since I've been starting those free picks. So head over there, follow me there if you're not already. UFC 288 recap. Let's do a quick recap. No profit personally on that card. 1 and 2. For myself. Drew Dober screwed me. I had him in a 2-fight parlay. A little surprising finish, at least. He doesn't get finished. I don't think he was finished in the last 12 years. Matt Farolva, you know, I got to give a hat off to him. Tip the cap. Nice finish there. I stayed away from the main event, but expect it to be close. That's what I mentioned in the video. I expect it to be very close, and that's what it was, right? The line told you that as well. It could have went either way. I do see why Sterling won the fight. One, he was able to avoid a lot of the wrestling and even get a few takedowns himself. And he did land more, according to shots. Even though they're not pretty, they're not damaging shots, right, from Sterling. Henry Cejudo definitely landed the bigger shots. I know he had a nice knee, a couple nice 1-2s. Close fight, but I do understand why. In championship fights, you have to take the belt from the champion. You know, this was a very close fight. So in those type of close fights, I do lean usually the champion when it's very close. You got to go and take the fight, dominate, or at least win the fight clearly. And Henry didn't do that. Interesting to see what's next. Obviously, O'Malley and Sterling will be next in that division. And Henry's saying he's still going to fight, which is a bit surprising. But I could see him fighting against Merab. Let's see what he has against him. Knowing the competitor that he was, I think he would come back and win that fight, but we'll have to see. Bilal gets a nice win, right? Co-main event, not a great fight. Burns did get hurt early in that fight, so I don't know how much to take out from that Bilal win, but Bilal did what he needed to do, right? Kept the fight standing, moved well, good striking, going in and out, nice jab, landed some nice shots. Now we hit Bilal. Bilal is a free play here. It's my favorite play on the card, and we did hit that for clients as well. Weekly update. Let's do a weekly update here. Over 60 units long-term profit in the UFC. Remember, guys, we're smaller units. We're structured system, right? Max 1, half units. Best bets are 2, which you don't see very often. 66% on the year at lower volume. PGA, first down week in the PGA in a while. 7 of the last 9 profitable events, over 83 units long-term in the PGA. NHL, continue to get winners, guys. 5-0 playoff run here on all NHL plays. 66% long-term in the NHL last 2 years. That's long-term. Over 27 units of profit. NBA, very low volume in the NBA. Been finding a couple of money line winners recently. We just hit Golden State yesterday. We parlayed it with the Oilers at plus money. You know, I like my 2 team parlays at times when it makes sense. You can get plus money, right? Instead of, you know, is Golden State going to win by 7 over the Lakers? Lakers playing well. Not confident on that. I'm confident Golden State's going to win the game, though, right? So find a parlay piece if you like something that hits my system, and then we get plus money. Why not, right? NFL. Let's do an NFL reminder before we get into this card. Let's hear from my friend Meredith before we get into the card.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Shop around, guys. Have multiple books. Very important. Very important to have multiple books, get different props, get different prices. Prices vary from book to book, especially in the UFC market. Other markets, not as much. But UFC market, it is very important. Let's go to the main event. Rozenstruik plus 375 versus Almeida minus 500. Yikes is my first comment with this fight, right? Big price here, big spot on ABC. I understand they're trying to build Almeida up. This fight should be fairly easy for him. And we'll go over that here quickly. Almeida's been cruising through the heavyweight division with a 205 body cut. He gets up there in weight, though. He keeps on adding size. Obviously, the cuts were tough for him. He's a thicker guy, very cut. But most guys are going to be bigger than him in these spots. However, he's just more athletic, moves better, and his ground game is really good. All finishes for Almeida so far in the UFC, 3 subs and 2 KOs, and I expect another one here. The price doesn't even improve much better, though, right? You go from minus 500. I think the finish here on some books are minus 350, 300, and it is difficult to decide on a sub or TKO, because I could see him just bringing him down to the ground and finishing him with a TKO, or he could find a submission as well. So you're going to get a 50-50 toss-up there. So if you're going to bet this fight, it would be Almeida by finish at minus 350 in a parlay piece. That's the only thing I can suggest here. You can't. The 500 is tough. This fight's not going 5 rounds. 0 chance this fight goes 5 rounds. I'm very confident in that. You got to pay. Market tells you that. Minus 1,000. This fight doesn't go 5 rounds, and I agree with that. Right? How does this fight go 5 rounds? Right? Almeida, I don't think he has the cardio to do. We haven't seen him out of the first, second round. Rozenstruik does have some cardio. He's very lackluster. He doesn't throw a lot of volume. Right? He'll pick his spots. He has gone 5 rounds before, but Almeida's going to be bringing the fight. He's going to bring this fight down to the ground. Right? Rozenstruik doesn't have great takedown defense. He's been taken down by Overeem. God, So Overeem's not really known for his takedown. So I just think Almeida gets this fight down to the ground fairly early. Look for a submission or a TKO. Can Rozenstruik catch Almeida? Sure. Right? It can happen. It's the UFC. It's heavyweights. Just Rozenstruik, when he fights up in 11, I do think Almeida is a next level guy. He just loses fights. He is coming off a Dawkins win. Dawkins, I have a low level guy in this division. I just don't see him winning this fight. Rozenstruik's only path to win this fight is a KO. I just have that at low volumes where I look at the numbers and run my stats, right? The more likely scenario is Almeida brings this fight down to the ground, like I mentioned, submit him or TKO ground and pound due to his control down there. So, would I be shocked if this goes in under 1.5 rounds? Definitely not. I see Almeida bringing the pace, going for the early takedown and just controlling him down on the ground. Excited to see what's next for Almeida if he gets this win here, unless there's some, miracle shot from Rozenstruik. Just not enough meat on the bones at plus 375 to take a chance there, to hope just for a big shot KO. So we're going to have to back Almeida here to win this fight. Big spot for him on ABC. Get more casual fans, get him some recognition, right? A lot of people know maybe about Almeida, especially casual guys. So now, hopefully, we will see. This is a good co-main. Smith minus 110 versus Walker minus 110. It is a tough fight to handicap. The line will tell you that. But it should be a good fight. Excited to see, is Walker ready to make that next step? And Smith is a perfect ladder, spot in the ladder to determine if Walker is ready. Right? We know Smith. We know Anthony Smith. He's been around tons of fights. When he steps up in the competition, highest level, Ankalaev, Jones, he struggles. He doesn't win the fights. But he can get you out of there if you're just some mid-tier guy. And let's see if Walker is that mid-tier guy. Smith, very good on the ground. We know that. Very high-level jiu-jitsu. Can wrestle a little bit. And he has a nice jab on the feet. Maybe doesn't move as well as Walker will. Walker will be the more athletic guy in there. Probably the stronger guy as well. I have trouble seeing Smith get this fight down to the ground. I don't really see that. I think that's where he wants it. Right? He wants to be able to find a submission there, and I don't know if he'll get there. And Walker, he's tough to handicap, right, as well, because you don't know what he's going to bring, right? Me personally, Walker's a guy that needs to just let loose. He needs to go in there without I wouldn't say without a game plan. I would say the game plan should be go out there, use your athleticism, move, go for that finish. You have the power to hurt guys, and go in there instead of a structured, let's move around, use a jab, maybe try to go for a takedown. We've seen that, and that's when he lost fights, when he was trying to be not himself. And when he's not himself, he doesn't really win fights. So let him go in there and just be all out, ruckus. You're going to lose fights from time to time. I don't think Anthony Smith will really knock you out on the feet. So I do think Walker in this type of fight, it could be a good matchup for him if he's going to just decide to go in there, not reckless, but go in there to finish. Go in there with some grit and just want to put Smith out instead of, let me dance around and try to use my jab here. And, this fight gets into the second, third round. Smith somehow gets a takedown, gets his back or something, right? So Walker is going to be the lean for me. I don't know if this will make my betting card as of yet. I want to see the scales. Obviously, my client card comes out Friday afternoon after the weigh-ins, but the lean's going to be Walker. Due to Smith's obviously experience, better resume, fighting the best guys in the world. There's a few concerns as well, right? How much is he still involved? He's been fought for almost a year now. He does his commentary, a few other things, a little bit older now. So there are some concerns there where I would have to lean Walker. But again, with Walker, you're hoping he fights a certain way. You're hoping he doesn't just try to stick and jab and try to win the fight on points. That's where he's not successful. So if Walker comes in, wins this fight, I'll be excited to back him if I have a tick in my hand. Haven't pulled the trigger yet. Lean is Walker, though. And if I do bet the fight, it's going to be Walker. Rodriguez, plus 240 versus Gary, minus 300. A bit of a surprising line here. It's high. It's high. I know the UFC's backing Gary. People are talking about the next Conor McGregor. He's not that. He's not that. Totally different fighter, right? Gary, toughest test yet by far. Rodriguez, you know him, brawler, street brawler, good boxer, and throws a lot of volume. Gary, though, I understand why he's favored. He's going to be more technical in there. He's going to be the better MMA fighter. I do think he moves better than Rodriguez. Rodriguez is more of come in and bang, I'll walk forward type of fighter. Gary's going to be quicker in there, and I do think he can just kind of use a jab, pick him apart, and win by decision. Rodriguez tough to finish. He hasn't been KO'd. He's been submitted before in the past. I don't expect this fight go down to the ground. Rodriguez doesn't really use his wrestling, so I don't expect him to get this fight down here. Gary can work off his back. He does have some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well, so I expect this to be on the feet. Somewhat of a three round type of fight where Gary just wins on the scorecards like he's been doing. Right? He's been winning fights for the most part. I know he had a late finish or third round, but he's been winning, just close fights. He hasn't been looking impressive. He's been looking fine, but is he the next big prospect? No, I don't think so. Is Rodriguez a guy to stop him? I wouldn't call you crazy at plus 240 to take a chance on that price. It's a good price. Rodriguez has been there with the better guys. He had some nice win over Jing Lee. Jing Lee was a much smaller guy in that fight. Kevin Lee. He lost to Magny his last time out. I wouldn't call you crazy because this is a big step up for Gary. It's a big step up. This is not going to make my client card. The price is out of hand at minus 300. I just can't get to Rodriguez because I do think this is a good fight for Gary, matchup-wise on the feet, just due to his quickness and his movement as well. So, yeah, play is going to be Gary. Not in love with this price. Try to get a better price. Go maybe look at decision. If you can get decision at a decent price, maybe I'd pull the trigger there. Alberg, minus 420. Versus Pretoria, plus 320. Another wild price here. Just you can't get to it. You can't get to Alberg at this price, even though I do like Alberg in this matchup because I do think it's going to play out on the feet. If you can tell me that an Alberg fight's going to play out on the feet, I would always usually lean Alberg. Where you can have trouble is a wrestler, right? They're going to just take him down. They're not going to want to try to stand and bang with the kickboxer. And Alberg's been coming in his own. He started slow in the UFC, but now he's getting some wins. No big names or anything. This also wouldn't be a big name. So, I expect him to get the win here. I expect it to be on the feet for the most part. Pretoria, I don't see any wrestling credentials from him. I don't think he'll try to get this fight down to the ground. So, I expect Alberg to win this fight. Even if you get it a finish, you're still paying like minus 200. It's wild. I never bet outcomes that high. I wouldn't suggest it. Maybe in the Almeida fight, because this fight could go 3 rounds. It's possible. It's possible, right? This guy could take a punishment, hang in there, maybe try to wrestle, grapple at some point. But I don't really see this fight going 3 rounds. So I would lean Alberg by finish. just the pricing here is just not great on this fight. It would be very difficult for me to bet as a handicapper and for my clients. Moreno minus 235 versus Means plus 200. Means still hanging around right at 39. A ton of fights under his belt. However, the decline is showing each and every fight. Back-to-back losses. Max Griffin and Kevin Holland. You know, no slouches, right? Both good guys. So you're putting him in there. He's in there with some good fighters. This probably be maybe his best chance yet to get a win. Moreno's coming off that loss to Ponzinibbio, and he was winning that fight, so it was impressive from Moreno. Moreno won the first 2 rounds. Ponzinibbio found a 3rd round KO. You're not going to really see that from Means. Means usually tends to fade throughout fights. 2nd, 3rd round, I think he'll be fading. Means will probably try to go for an early finish. I think Moreno's be able to handle the pressure and then just win the fight down the stretch, either a late finish or by decision. I get why Moreno's favored here, 2-1. I agree with the price. Maybe not 200, probably closer to 200. Whatever, you shop around, you can probably get that price. Again, hard to fit in my client card this weekend. I would lean decision. If I can get decision at a plus money, maybe I would look that way. But again, little concerns with Means cardio later in the 2nd and 3rd round. And that's where he can kind of gas out and Moreno can take advantage and finish the fight. So I'll probably be staying off this fight here. But for video purposes, the play is going to be Moreno. That will do it, guys. That will do a client card available after weigh-ins. I'll have a couple plays on the main card. Probably play also on the prelims as well. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Don't forget the early start time. It starts at 1 p.m. Main card, 3 o'clock. Good luck.